My name is Smirky. I am local. I am a Twitch partner and ambassador, and I basically wear a lot of hats in terms of like things Twitch side, more as a creator. My only esports credit is being like a content creator for an esports tour for 1 year, once upon a time, that is no longer around. That's really it. But I do go to a lot of conventions, IRL, traveling, streaming, and charity fundraising, and also did a lot of like work with Elgato and Coursera when I was like a student interning with them. So a lot of experience there.
Hi everybody, my name is Tanis. I go by Tanis at the Disco online. I am not an esports person. I'm here on the content creation side and getting a professional experience through content creation. So I'm a Twitch partner and a YouTube partner. I'm also running the creator program here at LVL UP. So I'm the creator program coordinator, and I also am the lead organizer for Stream LV because I'm local.
I know my way around this place because of you. He scouted me out, and I was like, all right, cool. I've been creating content for the last 4.5 years, but now I'm looking into variety content. I'm flowing into fighting game content, so you guys will probably see me at EVO this year. I was supposed to compete last year, but something came up. But this year, I won't play. But for me, it's mostly content creation with a little bit of speedrunning and a little bit of trophy hunting, but most of it is content creation variety. You guys are happy.
So yeah, fantastic panelists. I know that for a fact. And speaking of getting into live streaming, pretty hard when you first start. So I have a couple questions for y'all, so that way everyone can slowly ease into what content creation or esports with streaming and like all content creation is involved in right now, and seeing how that works out. So the first question I have, which is super great, is what got you into live streaming? Anyone can start it.
For me, I kind of stumbled into it by accident. I've been streaming for over a decade, so a very long time. I kind of stumbled into it on YouTube before like I even started streaming on Twitch. It just kind of like popped up as like a banner over my channel. It was like the Google Plus social network that used to exist. They had like a Hangouts, basically a Zoom equivalent, but it was like on air, they called it. So that's how I did my first broadcast on YouTube, and I had like probably like 30 people surrounding me in a silly little game that I play a lot called Toontown, and I pretty much just like never looked back from there, with like being able to like interact with people in real time from all over the world, and that pretty much like I just stumbled into streaming. Really, that's how I got into it. It wasn't like, oh, someone told me to try this thing out.
I have the opposite answer. So I was told that I'd be good at streaming by one of my friends. It was at the start of COVID, and I was just gaming. I started on an i3 4th generation computer with no graphics card. We just integrated graphics with 4 gigabytes of RAM. People that understand PCs know what I'm saying. Okay, that and old. So there was only a couple games that I could play that I was playing with friends at the time. One of them was Left 4 Dead 2, and then the other one, and this is just a coincidence, was Toontown for me as well, but not because of him. So yeah, and then my friend was like, I think you'd be very good at streaming, and I guess he was right, because I'm partnered now, so I guess it worked out, but yeah, so that's how I got started, and I'm not streaming without a graphics card anymore. So.
Okay, I'll go next. Well, I started in esports before streaming, and I just felt like I was always a very professional person on camera, and everyone knew me as like an industry person, but no one really knew the real me, and I felt like Twitch streaming was a way to connect with people and to kind of, I guess, be off script. And also I'm already gaming, so might as well show people how also good I am at it instead of just pretending to be smart all the time. So I can actually prove that I'm also good at it. So I kind of did it just to also fill time between the job, and I got to connect with other people, and it was nice to get my personality and meet people out there and be myself, because being on camera is very hard, and I felt like Twitch streaming was a nice way to practice being more on camera as well.
Yeah, so for everybody else, it was like, okay, cool, yeah, I eventually got into it. My coworkers got me into this. When I used to work over at Nellis Air Force Base, yeah, I'm a military kid, woohoo. I was working the night shift, and I got a call from a recently retired lieutenant at Air Force Base. He was like, hey, Anna, I was really hoping I could catch you. I was like, why? And he said, yeah, your coworkers told me that you play video games. I'm like, I play coworkers, that's nice, thank you. Set everything up, had me come down to HyperX Arena, had me cut my scales, all that other fun stuff. Congratulations, here's a contract. You are now the leader and captain of Mass Tech Esports. And I'm like, all right, cool. What does that mean? Oh, here's your free streaming stuff. Are you serious? Yes, we're completely serious. Do I have to pay any of this back? No, you do not. All you have to do is just stream your matches. And I streamed my matches on Twitch for about 2 years. Broke, where was I? Like top 300 at one point. Woo, support me! Thank you, thank you. And from there, I saw the writing on the wall, and Overwatch was going to turn into Overwatch 2, and that whole thing happened. And I told my management, hey, can you give me carte blanche on whatever? And they're like, sure, why not? So now I've just been doing content creation as my main gig, a lot of variety streaming. You'll see me hyperfixate on certain games when I got the platinum in Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Ubisoft reached out to me and gave an email. Hey, we saw your reaction on Twitter. Would you like a copy of our next Prince of Persia game? I was like, okay, cool. And then it just started snowballing. So now I'm like, okay, variety content. And then a friend of mine was like, what about fighting games? And I was like, all right, cool. And now I'm into fighting games too. So this is what I've been doing for the last 4 years, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's great. Honestly, you answered like another question I was gonna ask you guys, which who inspired you guys to get into content creation, right? But I think I might want to ask this one because more personally, I think everyone else here has an inspiration, a hero, or someone that truly inspires them. My question is this: who's inspired you to continue doing live streaming for now and forever that you'll never forget? And anyone can think that. By the way, they never knew that this question was coming.
Yeah, it's a heavy question.
Yeah.
And this one was new. This one was
Yeah.
not
This is a new one. Yeah.
Take this one. At least coming from like a commentating background, a lot of casters sometimes also transition into content creation. So if you guys know Courage JD, he was a big Call of Duty caster and like a huge personality, huge inspiration of mine. And he went from casting to content creation. And I think it's like a nice career path, if casting blows up, there's always content creation. It's always something you can do and be your own boss. And I kind of like the idea of floating both careers right now. And it's a nice way to express yourself. But yeah, Courage, just doing both paths and eventually going to content creation kind of made sense to me. Yeah.
Were there any like esports events that you would like sort of watch and like enjoy watching other players and how they also transition into streaming?
Yeah, a ton of the huge successful players ended up in content creation,
Yeah.
whether it's like your Scumpy, a lot of the Call of Duty guys. You kind of blow up as a player and then you go into content creation. So content creation is always that really good fallback plan. And it's not just a fallback plan, but it's also really fun because you get to be your own boss. And yeah, I just think all the players and casters that have transitioned or have done both have been really, really successful. And there's so much support that comes from that. So I think it's helped me, I don't want to get ahead of any questions that you have, but it's helped me mentally also to have so much support because I think it's a way for people to come support you in your career and stuff.
Yeah, for me, the best way that I learned how to stream and for my own community was just by watching other people and being inspired by the content that they were doing, because that helped me understand how they interact with their communities and kind of better understand digital etiquette on platforms like Twitch. So I don't know, but similar to Courage, I watched a lot of Tim's happening and just really enjoyed the personality that he brought to this table and still does really to this day. Some of these creators have been around really since the beginning, like Justin TV back in those days, it's really awesome to see how people still are like around after all this time.
I have a cheesy answer that isn't a content creator, but I think that the people that can encourage you the most are just the people in your circle. So friends, family, significant others, people like that. I think, at least for me, I know that my partner, my boyfriend Josh, is a big reason that I'm still doing content because he believes in me every day. And I do think, like, I know some creators are very scared to show people their channel, and they're like, I don't want my friends from work to see this. I don't want them to see it. Show them, tell them, because it's really important to have people that are close to you, that know you offline and online, to be there and proud of you. And I think that that's kind of can be a very important stimulate to keep going, especially when numbers are bad or views are bad or something like that. It's always good to have some people in real life that are in your corner.
Yeah, so for me, going back to the whole lieutenant thing, my lieutenant was the one who actually got me into this, because I told him, yeah, you know, I just play video games for fun, I've got a, 9 to 5, 7 job. That was horrible. And, I'm perfectly content with what I'm doing, and my LT sat me down and was like, Anna, are you sure you're actually content with this? I know you're up from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. and you're going home, you're miserable, and you look like garbage every time I see you, and I'm like, wow, that's really helpful, LT, thanks. And, my LT gave me that SEAL pep talk, which is really weird because I'm Air Force. I might take the word from SEAL. But he gave me that pep talk, you can do this. It may seem daunting at first, but I think we can do this. You've got the personality for it, because I've been sitting in front of you for the last 45 minutes, and you were literally the most animated person I've ever met in the Air Force. I'm like, wow, thank you. And that sort of pep talk was just like, all right, cool, let's go. And every time I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing this. It's to keep the people closest to me, happy, and to show them, hey, it's just more than, I sit here, do audit work from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. every single night. But being able to have those sorts of people in your life, like,
Are you trying to refer to my name?
tennis, there we go,
Wow,
sorry.
that was crazy.
It was bound to happen.
Second try, and we weren't close at all. I'm kind of impressed. I don't know how you did that.
Good memory, that's what it is. But as Dennis was saying, you start with the people within your circle, and then you branch out. Because what I've noticed is, I told all my relatives, hey, I'm getting into streaming, all that sort of stuff. I started having people, come in from like halfway across the world. I don't know these people, but they're like, yeah, we know you through your cousin. I'm like, what? Who are you? And that sort of like has cascaded into like everything. Is like it's that start locally, grow globally sort of thing. And that's something that's kind of kept me going, is thinking of all the people closest to me and how proud that would make if they knew that, oh crap, he's actually playing at Evo, and oh my god, he's on camera. That is the one thing that keeps me going at night, and it's fun.
That's really good. Honestly, you guys all gave good answers, especially for one that came out on the curveball. But it's because you guys keep answering all the questions way ahead of time, because you guys are super good at this.
No!
Like really quick too. I would like to say my inspiration of streaming is everyone here. I've seen all of their streams. They've been inspiring me. And every time I do my nonprofit work, I always have Twitch on. So I'm either watching all of them on the side or the Bird Peanut. Honestly, that guy's cool. That guy really knows how to make production. Dummy production. Another one is a super good thing is, anyone can live stream nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to get on camera, and it's hard to just start it, but anyone can do it. So speaking of, raise your hand here if you have a Twitch account and you have one time, just at least once, hit live.
Wow, that's actually a really good number.
That's
a good number.
Good chunk of people.
That is a really good number.
I wish, you can put your hands up. I wish we could have everyone put their hands up because we're also live streaming too. So technically, you are live streaming. Everybody, drop the shout out to Nevada Esports Education League, NV Esports Education League. Follow us on Twitch. Yeah. The other thing with that is that how does live streaming help you in your professional careers, whether that be esports, working in the esports industry, content creation, or anything else live streaming?
I mentioned I was able to get a student internship. It was during COVID at Elgato and Coursera, and that straight up, like, my hiring manager at the time told me, like, yeah, in the pool of hundreds of resumes that I saw that you have like an established Twitch channel and community, and I saw like skills that you could like bring to the table maybe. So I called you in for the rounds of interviews that we did. So that actually kind of helped me land that opportunity to then learn some marketing skills and background. So it's because of Twitch that I was able to lock that in and kind of grow my network. So and I'm sure for like esports as well, like, if you go into streaming and then transition to esports, like whether it's commentating or playing, kind of have those skills already that you've been building.
Yeah, for me, I think it's opened up everything. I think casting and just esports right now is very brand centric. You have to have a really big brand. It's all about those numbers. So ways that you build your brand in esports is through content creation and stuff like that. So I think there's two different ways of doing it, whether you want to record and script and plan if you're that type of person, or you're more improv personality off the cuff. And for me, I'm more of an off the cuff as an on-camera person, so Twitch made sense. So then once that kind of happened, you had my community come in of, okay, I'm already doing casting, so people would kind of transition through that. And as numbers, whatever came in, then you have sponsorships, then you have relationships there, players that you cast, maybe check out your stream, maybe you network that way. I think content creation is a big networking tool as well, whether it's people that you collab with, people that just come to watch you. It's not like a resume, but it is like you're real. It's people's first impression of you outside of what you do in a professional environment. So for me, it's networking, practicing my on-camera, not trying to be someone, but just being a non-camera personality is also being yourself. And I think that's the thing that people, like talent, really struggle, is being too robotic on camera and feeling like you have to act a certain way. And then streaming kind of helped me take off that mask that you feel like you have to put on. So it helped me with so many things.
What was the question?
How does live streaming, help build your professional self into a job or resume?
Okay, yeah. So the interesting thing about that, wow, my brain is all over the place today. For me, it's done the exact opposite. So within my professional life, I'm Air Force, we have that very sort of decorum, that sort of thing. But I've been approached by my command, hey, we found your Twitch channel. Oh God, am I in trouble? No, you are not in trouble. We actually want to talk to you about it. I'm like, no, the way you say it makes it sound like I'm gonna get either I'm gonna lose a rank or I'm gonna get kicked out. Pick one. And they're like, neither of those options. We want you to spearhead a program for us. We want you to do a testbed program for us. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? They're like, yeah, a lot of the people that we're having come home, they're all stressed out and we don't know what to do. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? They're like, well, you play video games, right? And I'm like, yeah, everybody plays video games. And they're like, can you make it more inclusive? I'm like, dude, video games are already inclusive. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to take my squadron and drive them down to HyperX Arena? Is that what you want me to do? And they're like, you're onto something. Give it a try. And I talked to a lot of my superiors at the Air Force Base, and they were like, yeah, so we got an overwhelming response from all of your squad mates that they want to do that again. I'm like, are you serious? I thought that was just going to be a one-off thing. I was like, bro, I literally paid X amount of cash out of my own pocket to fund this little get together and trip, you know, a decompression trip essentially. And they apparently loved it so much that they want to do it again. And I'm actively looking into making it an actual quarterly thing for the people within my squadron to, you know, hey, I don't want to go rock climbing. Hey, I don't want to go camping. Hey, I don't want to go kayaking. Hey, Anna, what are you doing this weekend? Nothing. Can you take us to HyperX Arena? Sure, let's go. And the response I got from my test group was an resounding success. Like, they literally did not shut up for a month. They kept asking me, dude, are we gonna go again? I'm like, bro, that was so much money out of my own pocket, but I'll try. But yeah, it's done the exact opposite. It's actually helped my profession. It's helped my fun stuff has actually helped my professional stuff essentially. And it's a great payoff.
You've learned like a lot of skills from.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, you know, a lot of people, they see me as, you know, a product of my family, and my family is like really high on the tree, and they find out that, you know, the prodigal son is the complete opposite. He's very punk rock, he's very loose, he's very fast, and he talks a lot. And so a lot of people are like, why isn't your dad like that? I'm like, it's because I'm not my dad. I'm, you know, taking my parents' legacy and I'm forging my own path with it. And a lot of my coworkers are like, I wish you were my superior. I'm like, well, too bad, man.
So Twitch is a one-man band, as a lot of people know. If you've ever tried to put a stream together, you're either sourcing your own overlays and you're sourcing your own branding, whether that's just having an idea and getting someone to make your idea become a reality, or buying something on Etsy, which is still like you're funding it, or you're having to create those, or you're coming up with your personality. If you're a VTuber, you have to come up with your model, and it's a lot of like, so you could get into like a ton of stuff. You could become a graphic designer on accident. You can become a video editor on accident. You probably should become a video editor, by the way, if you do Twitch.
Yeah.
You know, you can become a 3D animator, a 3D rigger, or like any of these things. So Twitch has a ton of like ways of branching out to do things that would look good on a resume. And so through you just trying to make things good for yourself, you can then take that and bring it to businesses. So for me, I host a bunch of events. So I'm a Dead by Daylight creator. So I do a Dead by Daylight party at TwitchCon. And so with that party, I now have event planning. And so now I'm here and I'm helping with the creator program, and I wouldn't have that experience if I wasn't doing that for my own stuff, or hosting like 2v8s where I have to get streamers involved and stuff, and doing all this organization to know how to do that organization. And so I got that knowledge through just wanting to make things happen for me. And so not only that, just having like general creator knowledge also helped in terms of getting into this field, because if I didn't know anything about it, that'd be kind of weird to be in charge of a bunch of creators here. So I think that because there's so many different avenues, and there's things that you don't have to manage. Like, I'm not a VTuber, I don't have to know how to do 3D stuff, but like someone else could have that skill set. So there's a bunch of stuff that can go on a resume. And I know that putting Twitch on a resume might be cringe to you, but honestly, a lot of places where people might be looking for it. Yeah, so.
I'm gonna steal that now.
I mean,
I'm gonna have to steal that.
you know, obviously I don't throw it on like every resume I send out, so it depends if it's relevant, right?
Yeah.
If it's relevant, it could potentially like, you know, it could, you know, get some eyes on, you know,
And
what's
you can
possible.
always word it
Yes.
to fit what you're looking at in
Uh-huh.
order to kind of mold Twitch
Yeah.
or what you're doing to what you're looking
Yeah,
to do.
but I knew that like what I was building was very valuable, so I decided to like present that, and that's kind of what led to that. So yeah.
Better professionals over here. Everyone here is a pro, honestly. So I'm gonna put TikTok on my resume and say I made the 670. Let's go! No, I'm kidding. Or we can break the 6-7 world record. Maybe. Not today though.
Yeah, sure.
Not this time. Maybe
Not in this panel yet. No. But speaking of, it's a lot that you have to do professionally. You have to really cater towards your audience and stuff like that. And speaking of, we have an audience here, right? And boundless audiences, especially with the eyes that are watching you guys live, do you ever feel like you have to play your games better? You have to be such really good pro players in order to cater to your audience, or how do you feel, guys, about that?
So I'm actually going to take this one first because that one actually hit me pretty hard on the head. So for me, I'm a very, very meticulous person. I will literally do practice runs in certain games, and if it doesn't work out, I get really, really, really anxious and I freak out. But when I started doing that sort of thing, I had a lot of people, jump into my chat and they were like, dude, we see it. We know you're trying to shave like 12 seconds off your time. We know you're speedrunning this. We can see that you are anxious. It's okay. It's genuinely okay. And having a lot of people over the last couple of months, because I do speedruns in certain games, have that sort of decorum and be like, dude, relax, you're okay. It's cool. We're just here to watch you do your thing because you're good at what you do. I found that to be really, really, really reassuring, and it definitely helped ease a lot of that anxiety and tension that happens when I'm, all right, cool, let me try this, no death, no hit run. But just having those people be reassuring and it doesn't necessarily feel like I'm talking to a brick wall, and having people give me, words of endearment, it means a lot. It genuinely means a lot, so having those people in my corner definitely helps.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to the voice that you're trying to find and what the why is in terms of like what it is that you're creating. Because if you are going in as like, you're speedrunning, then that you maybe do get that more like competitive. I have to be really good at this game kind of vibe. For me, I'm a little bit more laid back. There might be some times where maybe there's a game that I play that is more like speedrunning focused, where like, maybe I do want to shave some time off, but there's a lot of times I'm just really there to like form authentic like discussions, conversations, dialogue, and connect with people that way. So, I mean, the cool thing about streaming is that there's just so many different kinds of like communities that when you go to even research streaming and you go to see what people are creating, there's just so many different things, like the umbrella of variety is so broad, it covers a lot of different areas, which is both beautiful and it can be overwhelming sometimes when you're trying to figure out what to watch or what, but I mean, that's kind of the beauty of different platforms like Twitch and YouTube.
For me, I guess for casting in esports, there is like a stereotype that you have to be the best at the game in order to be able to allowed to have an opinion on it.
Yep.
And that's not always the case, right? And we are professional BSers at the end of the day.
That is also true.
The casting, yeah, we're very good at it sometimes. But also it's entertainment, right? And I think I did the playing, I want to prove that casting is also a lot of hard work. And even though I'm not the best at the games, I'm still going to stream it all the time to prove that I'm passionate about the games that I cast, and I do a lot of different games. And the ones that I'm very bronze at, I'm not going to stream because that would be negative aura for me in what I do. So there's a certain illusion of, okay, I can at least be average, perhaps above average. I'm a mix of above average a lot of things, but I definitely don't stream the games that I'm really bad at because then that would maybe be bad PR for me. But I don't think, to answer the question, do you need to be good at video games to cast or along that, is that I think there's 3 different types of streamers, or buckets I want to say. People are either going to like the way you sound, how entertaining you are, what you're doing, how good you are at the game, and sometimes how you look, to be fair. That is a big drawing thing to content creation, and it doesn't have to be one of those things, it's buckets. So for me, what is my niche? What makes me different as a content creator? And I never wanted to be Shroud. I never wanted to be like this pro player. I wanted to make people laugh. And I knew that, okay, I didn't have to be the best player in order to be the best caster, the best content creator. I wanted to be entertaining. And if I have other buckets filled, that's pretty cool too. But I'm already grinding the game, so I might as well also stream it so that I'm kind of doing everything at once. But yeah, I'm very bronze at some games, but I casted professionally, so I'm also breaking the mold of casters don't have to be coaches. It's entertainment, and streaming has helped me be a better entertainer and therefore a better caster.
Oh yeah, going off of what Kiwi said, you know, I actually sat down with my audience because I do have those moments of like hardcore self-doubt, and I'm completely transparent with my audience. Hey guys, I feel like garbage today, and I've cried for like 8 hours within the last like day and a half. I don't feel well, and I asked my audience at point blank range, what do you guys see in me? And the responses just flood in. They're like, dude, you either know way too much about something that's extremely niche, which is actually kind of terrifying, or when you read stuff out loud, I love the sound of your voice. That compliment always throws me off. I'm like, you want me to read you the Encyclopedia Britannica because I can? And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, no. But no, having people who find me not just for like the speed running, the fighting game content, variety content, whatever, but just, you know, hey, I like having you on is like noise because I love listening to you, you know, talk. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of creepy, but okay. And just having those people who are like the silent supporters, right? Those are my favorite kinds of people. They DM me like long after, or you know, I get a DM from them the moment I wake up, and they're like, hey, I watched your stream last night. You did a really, really good job, even though I was, you know, running around in marathon and, you know, getting absolutely annihilated because I think it's brutal.
Wow, such good answers. Okay, well, I was kind of gonna answer what you guys answered, where it's like there's different types of content creation. So let me take this from a different angle. I do think that I play a little bit differently when I am streaming because I get a lot of new people that come into my game because of the type of game it is. Dead by Daylight's always getting new players and cycling out old players because the game's almost 10 years old, or turns 10 this year. So for me, I want to play in a way where someone feels like they are comfortable asking me questions about the game or that I'd be knowledgeable about the game. That's not necessarily always how I'm playing because I'm not the best at it, but I want to be as open to new players as possible and as like friendly to that as possible. So that's not what my answer was going to be, but that's the answer that you're going to get, because so it's different than everybody else's.
I actually like all of those answers. Catering towards an audience is kind of hard, especially everyone's different. I mean, right here you have a complete set of different people coming from different spaces for live streaming and stuff, but it still is great to bring people together and to be yourself, right? Because the real reason why people should like you is because for who you are, right? Yeah. And Dr. Seuss has a good quote that I've always read by in my life, and I go by a lot of quotes, is be who you are and say how you feel, because those who mind don't matter, but those who matter don't mind. Which means no matter what, anyone who vibes with you, who accepts you for who you are, will always accept you, and you don't ever have to cater towards a certain thing, right? And I feel like in online communities right now, I think we're all seeing it, it's very, what do you call it? It's very polarizing. People are just online catering towards certain people, and they're trying to get certain audiences just to blow up. That is completely opposite, and we don't want anyone here to take that away. We want everyone here to take it just like with them. You can be yourself, and you can still grow your audience.
Exactly.
Yes. We have one more question, but I'm gonna be like a magician and be like, pick a card by saying we're gonna head it into Q&A. So that means if you guys ask the question that I had here, yeah, you did a great job. But yeah, we're gonna open it to Q&A. Does anyone, you don't have to go up to the mic, but we do have a mic, wanna go up and ask a question? If not, you can just raise your hand, because I know how frightening it can be. All right, right there.
What was y'all's like favorite all-time game your whole life? And maybe one day you might want to try streaming it.
So our favorite game from the past, pretty much, that we might want to
your
stream.
whole life, your favorite game you got streaming.
Like one game, right?
1 or 3, whatever.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's interesting because like I grew up on Toontown like as a kid, and then I ended up starting streaming with that, and have like streamed it for a very long time. So that's like, you know, I kind of understand what it's like to bring in a game that like you grew up with and build a community around it, right? But there are other games I definitely like grew up on, whether it was like PS2 or Game Boy or anything like that. I wanted to like play the SSX snowboarding games again. Like those games are so nostalgic to me, just like doing all the tricks and the Uber tricks and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a very niche guy, like altogether. That's kind of what I love leaning into. Just those random pockets of like the early 2000s. Like that's like my bread and butter. So.
Okay, twist answer. So when it comes to being a content creator, there's games that I would enjoy playing or would like love to play, but some that just like, I'm not saying they don't work, but like the category is very small, or even for some games it's like non-existent. And so my answer of like my favorite is like Cooper.
Yeah.
But I don't see me streaming it. I know that some people have streamed it before, but I couldn't see myself streaming that game just because there is a natural king system inside of Twitch, and so I take that into consideration when I pick games. So that's like an answer for
Like
you.
some people stream games like just for fun, and you'll
Yeah,
see them
and that's
in
true,
categories
but
like that.
this
But
is my job,
Others,
so.
others treat it as like their job, their full-time like commitment, right? So
Yeah.
there will be some strategy involved.
For me, I have my on-stream games and my off-stream games because that's important because you don't want to burn out from your favorite games because I'm not someone who can one-trick a game on stream. It's hard to just, you're gonna love to hate it. You're gonna hate to love it, whatever. But for me, my favorite on-stream games would be any hero shooter, anything that goes burr, any pretty colors. I love Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, you know, Call of Duty, things that have a lot of action, things that I can just play for hours and hours. And off stream, like kind of you guys said, things that don't do well on stream or things that wouldn't, you know, not that there's no point of streaming it, but it's like there's different games for streaming and not streaming, in my opinion. And for me, I like Final Fantasy. I like my little cozy games, my Stardew Valley, you know, where I don't have to talk, and things that are hard to talk through, like farming or something like that. So my off-stream games are
You don't have to think too hard about pressing A.
Guys, my crops need to be watered one by one by one. The commentary stuff there.
So for me, it's really wild because when I was growing up in the United Kingdom, I had an uncle who he was a PC gamer, so he got on Steam, he got on the bandwagon, that sort of thing, and he showed me Half-Life when I was younger, which probably was a really bad idea now that I think about it. Sammy is really bad for like a name, just saying. But no, Half-Life and Half-Life 2 were like the reason why I got into physics, because, you know, Gordon Freeman, he's a physicist, he goes on, has a crowbar, saves the world using physics, that sort of thing. So that was one of the really big games that got me back into video games after my parents told me, no, stop playing video games, it's bad for your health. And then the other game, it was my aunt, who is also living in the United Kingdom, and she was playing Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation. And that was the game that made me go, huh, Mara's cool, she's cool. And then my aunt was like, you know why I want you to play this, right? And I'm like, no. And he's like, I want you to like find something that interests you. And you know, the whole fact, aside from, you know, it's Mara, he did all this archaeological stuff. And, you know, I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. And it started getting me into, like, history. And it wasn't specifically ancient English history until, like, much later in my life. But it got me digging around my family tree. And going down that history rabbit hole was like, all right, cool. And since I was living in England at the time, I was like, you know what? Sure, ancient English history, why not? And that's how I got my BA in ancient English history. 14th century, and then I also got a BA in applied physics through Half-Life, which was kind of insane. So I usually lead with those two games. But right now, my current fixation, if you guys have seen in the hall over there, if you stopped by, I was playing Marathon, and and that's like my current obsession right now. That's my current fixation. I fell down a research rabbit hole because, you know, it's 1G. And I fell down a rabbit hole and I did all the more research and I'm like, that's horrifying, I want in. And I've been playing that game like on stream as much as humanly possible. And everybody's like, he plays triage, be nice to him. And I'm like, yeah, you better be nice. Either I bring you back or I watch you rot. One or the other, pick one. But yeah, Marathon is like my current like fixation right now. Simply because it's bright and it's colorful and it's like super clear.
Another question.
Alright, when you first started out streaming, what was your biggest hurdle and how did you overcome it?
Yes.
That was a really good guess.
I guess I can go first. So for me, I was an industry person, caster, and I was a baby caster at the time, so I felt I needed to be in a certain box. I needed to be professional, and then how women were viewed as professionals. I was like, how do I dress? How do I act? Can I cuss? Do I have to be brand friendly? Can I talk smack about games? Like, does that because I feel like I felt like I was the face or a face representing a brand when I was casting. So I was really worried about just making a mistake and saying the wrong thing, because you see all these streamers get clipped for something out of context, and they go viral, and then they're getting dumped on, and then they're getting threats and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, like at any moment someone's gonna take an opinion and put me on Reddit of like caster of games said this, because people were getting clipped all the time. So I just was so rigid at the beginning, and then I realized the people that kept coming back to my stream were people who cared about me and weren't there to clip me, I guess. So I kind of, threw out some more hot takes and realized, okay, wait, I'm not gonna just randomly get on Reddit. So I was so worried of just making a mistake and I just wasn't able to be myself because then I started cussing, having my own opinions, and doing whatever I wanted. And so just being really nervous and shy around strangers, because also you're streaming to so many people, but you don't see them, and you don't know who is watching you at all times.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, is my boss watching? Is like people in real life watching? If I want to make certain like a dirty comment or something, and then you're like, oh my god, is my boss watching? And it's like, and then it wasn't that big of a deal. It's never as deep as you think it is. So I got over that. That was my hurdle.
My hurdle was like related to burnout, I guess, because I kind of stuck with what was working, and then if I started trying to like do something that wasn't working really in a similar manner, it was like pretty hard to kind of like initially overcome that. Like, okay, is this even worth my time to even like stream at this point? But it just learning to be comfortable with what was bringing up those uncomfortable like thoughts eventually kind of helped me just ease into myself more in terms of what I was like bringing to the table every time I was on camera, and just really finding my own voice. That kind of like helped, I guess, combat that.
So my answer is technology, very, very early, because I was streaming with like a 2011 webcam, because I started during COVID, so all of the corpo people had bought up the webcams, and then I didn't have a graphics card. But if we're talking, let's go a little further forward. My biggest hurdle was, I think, branding at first, and I think that I didn't have a clear direction. I had like, and I love these colors, neon green is my favorite color, but I had like hot pink and neon green stuff, because I was like, oh yeah, that's what gaming looks like if you're a girl or whatever. And so a lot of it was, I was garnering an audience that didn't really make sense for what I wanted, and they were treating me weird. and so a lot of it was just branding, and I think that some people get caught up on their branding thinking they have to have it completely figured out like right at the start. And I found that the best branding comes on accident, just through your content creation and through stuff. So my like nickname online is Dad. I got a gag gift one year for my 22nd birthday of like a #1 dad hat. I wore it on stream, and then I just started getting called Dad. And now that's been my thing for 4 years. So I'm everybody's dad. If you were to follow me, I become your dad. and I always come back with the milk. I'm better than your old dad because of that. And so that's just like, and like I changed it to red. That's not my favorite color, but I think it just works better with me, my personality, just because of like, you know, what colors mean or whatever. But I think that branding was my biggest hurdle, but honestly, the stuff that came natural through streaming, through having a community, especially a community that I liked, instead of trying to cater to what I thought internet looked like, or what I thought that Twitch looked like, or what I thought, you know, girls that stream looked like. Once I stopped doing that, that's when like it all started to kind of fall together. But that was probably my biggest hurdle at first.
Why is everybody? So for me, my biggest hurdle, you know, you guys can see it. You guys can literally see it right now. I'm a very animated person, right? This is not what I'm like. I'm literally not like this at home. I am an anxious mess. I spend a lot of time locked in my room, that sort of thing. And I think that was the biggest hurdle for me, was overcoming that degree of, oh my God, why am I awake, blah, 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 that sort of thing. But once I managed to get over that, you know, with talking with some people and talking through those things, and, you know, not necessarily letting that anxiety eat me alive, that was the biggest hurdle for me, was just saying, okay, it's okay that you're nervous, it's okay that you've had nervous breakdowns, that sort of thing. It's okay that you have panic attacks. And for me, it was just like getting over those brain worms. I think that's like the new popular phrase. Okay, thank you. And, you know, getting over that, and then just letting myself be and put the Iron Man armor back on, so to speak. It has definitely helped, because now I've got like my own thing. Like Tana said, you find your niche with people. And so when I get really upset on stream and I want to call somebody something horrible, I immediately default to calling them Barbara Streisand because of South Park. Thank you for getting that joke! Thank you guys so much! I've had to explain that so often, and it sucks. It genuinely sucks. I have to pull up the clip and everything, and I'm like, I hate having to pull up this clip. But this is why I call people who make me angry in the game Barbara Streisand. This is why I call them that. And then I have to watch the clip, and they're like, you watched this growing up? I'm like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And so now when I get mad, or I come across the really big inside joke for us is like, if I come across a redacted word, or like some sort of redacted, control is really big for this. You know, when you read the little files in the game, all of it's like redacted and stuff. I had to replace the word with Barbara Streisand because my community was like, do it! I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna call it redacted. They're like, no, you're gonna do it. I'm like, no. And then they started sending me subs that literally read, do the Barbara Streisand thing. And I'm like, please stop. And it didn't stop for a month and a half while I was playing the game. And it's just like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna call everything that's redacted in this game Barbara Streisand. I hate it, but you guys love it. Okay, cool. But yeah, for me, it was getting over that internal degree of social anxiety, and then saying, okay, I'm cool enough to let myself be myself on camera.
And just being okay to like ask for help and ask questions, because it's all a one-man show a lot of the time, right? But like, we're all in this like together, even when we're all doing these different things. It's like, you know, community.
Yeah. You guys have all amazing questions, but unfortunately, we're running out of time. Oh, can I get all?
Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yes, and speaking of, before we want to go, we really want to hear one piece of advice from each and every one of y'all. So, let's start.
For me, I saw some quote about like the further you try to act from your true self, the more that gap between who you really are and who you're trying to be creates anxiety and creates kind of like a disconnect of real life. And I always knew that streaming had to be me, no matter how lame or unfunny, or you know, if I'm tilted, if I'm mad, if I'm sad, if I'm having a good day, bad day, you're getting all of it. Because the people that are there for you are going to be there for you, and they're going to tune out and you're going to tune in, and that's the way it is. And I For me, don't look at the viewer number. I have never once looked at the viewer number at all, because it feels like a criticism to who you are, and that's not a reflection of who you are, in my opinion. Streaming, at least for me, it's not something like, oh my god, my income. So maybe for people that also don't ever rely on Twitch for income, it should always be a supplementary thing. I feel like that was a really obvious advice, but I see a lot of people try to full-time that. Do not do that. Try to work streaming around your schedule, be yourself, and don't look at the numbers, and create the community. Like I like what you said earlier, create the community that you want to be around, the people that you want to be around, and don't tolerate people that don't fit people that you like. Because you don't have to accept anything, no matter how much they're paying you, whatever tier sub that they are. That does not matter. Your happiness doesn't have a dollar value or a viewer number. So yeah.
Yes. And to get to that community, take time to, understand what your why is. Understanding, what is inspiring you to do this in the first place, whether that is, another person that is doing it, or you're coming in from a unique background, taking that to understand what it is that interests you, understanding the voice that you're trying to bring, understand the branding that you're trying to build. All of that will eventually lead up to that voice that you're trying to share with others, and sharing that and sharing it with your family and your friends. Eventually, the word of mouth is the most powerful tool when it comes to any of the charity fundraisers that I'm doing, or any of the streams that I'm trying to promote. It definitely is super important. So it's not something that I discovered overnight. It took a very long time, and sometimes even things change, and that's okay too. As interests change, as we continue to grow and evolve, it's ever flowing, and being okay to go along with the ride is part of the fun, I guess. So that's what I would say.
Those were so beautiful. I'm gonna say something more to the point. Multi-stream and be on all platforms. And if you think you're being annoying, you're not being annoying enough. And be in as many places as possible if you want to make content creation work. I should preface that. Maybe if you're trying to be a professional, that's not necessary. But trying to do as much as you can, as many places as you can, because that'll work better than streaming 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, just on that grind set, not actually growing or being in other people's faces and other spaces that you should be in, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, that sort of thing.
You know what? I'm gonna take note of that. I'm genuinely gonna take note of that, because
And post the same thing, even if it's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I promise you they haven't seen it, and if they have, it'll be okay. That means they're one of your biggest fans.
Yeah, that's genuinely the weirdest thing, is when I post something on Instagram, and then that Instagrammer, they're like, hey, I saw that clip where you forgot what the color purple was. I'm like, really? Really? Come on, dude. It was stellar played. Come on, leave me alone. And they were like, yeah, I saw that clip on Instagram. And, that person eventually turned into a follower. They hung out, they got to know me better, that sort of thing. And then that clip went to TikTok, because I was like, you know what, I need to grow it out, I guess, why not? I sent it to TikTok, and then I had 12 people. They're like, hey, you're the guy who doesn't know what the color purple is. I'm like, God, seriously, stop it. It sucks. Leave me alone. But they eventually also became those sorts of people who were like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then on the flip side, I had that clip of me winning the Platinum Trophy from Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, retweeted by Ubisoft, which was the biggest thing I've seen. And I was like, no way. And I had so many people start coming in when I started doing the boss rush speed runs in that game. English is hard. And another, like Kiwi said, getting better with names here. Don't worry about your metrics, that sort of thing. Because when I first started, I had that viewer number enabled, and it never went up past 1. But for me, what I find to be more rewarding is people who are, sending me DMs or actually stopping me in public. I actually had somebody on the con floor stop me earlier. Hey, I've seen you before. I'm like, from where? They're like, oh, we've seen you on Twitch. I'm like, with the Iron Man jacket on or without the Iron Man jacket on? They're like, both. Your mohawk sticks out. There's a lot. But that sort of interaction where it's like the stuff you do online bleeds out into IRL stuff. That I find to be more engaging and more satisfying over than, oh, Anna doesn't know what the color purple is. Shut up!
Yeah, the people to people has always been the most like fulfilling thing about this whole thing. It hasn't been about the numbers because that's the byproduct of the interactions that you're having with your chatters, with the people in the games that you're playing, whether that's voice chat or whatever. It'll flow how it flows, you know? At the end of the day, just focusing on what's in front of you, not as much about what those numbers are showing, because the industry still to this day focuses a little too much on that. And that's even how opportunities are handed out by brands sometimes, and that I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah, just focus on, you know, what's in front of you, and, you know, stick to that consistently, and yeah, spreading your reach to different platforms. They will perform differently between TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. The algorithms are, you know, different. But yeah, so just expand your reach. You never know where it's gonna take you. It brought you all here, so that's really cool.
Yay! Okay, we kind of have to speak about this in less than a minute. I want everyone to take out your phones. And where can they find you, follow you, or etc. Tag you on anything? Go.
Oh god, Twitch.tv/LemonKiwi, also LemonKiwi _ probably on those socials like Instagram and Twitter. I have an underscore, I'm sorry. You're good. Oh,
he has to do this. It's okay.
Love it. Yeah, Smirky, SMIRKY is on Twitch, and then different variations on other socials because other people had the same nice idea. It's fun when your name gets taken in-game or on socials, but we work around it, so if you just see the guy with the Twitch cap, then you know it's me. So yeah, I'll be around all weekend this week. So.
Tanis at the Disco on all platforms. That's TANIS. It's like Janice Jackson, you know that person, but with a T. Janice. Right, I just messed that up. I'm thinking, holy crap. Anyway, yeah. So
And then
like that, but with a T.
And then come see Tanis at the Creator Lounge.
Yeah.
Which
If
is
you are a creator, come talk to me. I want to talk to you. And so does Razor.
Later anyway. But guys, as you can tell, I use my legal name on all my platforms, which is absolutely insane. If you guys want to see me on Twitch, first name, last name, no spaces. But for all my other socials, Blue Sky, Instagram. No, I'm not giving my Discord away because I keep getting spam robots. But if you want to try, it's _IronGentleman as one word. And I'm live on Twitch every day. So if you plug that into the Twitch search engine, if you plug my first name and my last name, every afternoon from 4 p.m. I will be on doing at least something. I will be over at the Lenfest booth tomorrow playing more Marathon. Stop by, say hi.
Woo! Everyone give it a round of applause. To find yourself love is providing esports education. So there's the next panel coming in, but
we're gonna be outside if you want to say hey.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Dainsfield Level Up Expo.
Wait, hopefully we can all organize it. Everyone get in front of this right here, and we're gonna take a bigger photo. Everyone get group picture, group picture.
Only if you're comfortable doing so. You do not have to.
Yeah.
You can leave if you want.
Thank you.
W.
Come
Come be part of the photo.
Mayor's gonna be thinking it. All
Right
right.
there, yeah. All right.
Gotta keep running, everyone.
And feel free to get in a little closer as well if you're on the outer.
If you're on the sides, have some of you guys come in the front a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
I am going to move.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Y'all are awesome.
Y'all are amazing now.
Whose phone is this?
That's you.
Can I move it to the side?
Yeah, move
Okay.
you to the side.
Okay.
What's up, Twitch?
I can't, you guys are
Okay. I think we can get everyone on. Yeah, maybe a lot of you guys to come, maybe on stage.
Alright, everybody up.
You're welcome to join.
Get on the side, get up on stage. We're ready.
Be careful being up the stairs, but with the pace, power walks. Just like
And then for those of you guys on the side right here, just
Okay.
said it was on.
Chat, clip that.